want to try and tell a story about the file cutting trades of Sheffield. Files have been made for thousands of years. They're certainly mentioned in the Bible, and in the last 40 or 50 years they've disappeared virtually from the face of the earth. We don't use them anymore, and because of that I thought it was quite useful to show something about what files were for and how they were made in Sheffield. This is the hand making process that used to be done up to around 1850 until machines were invented, but the last hand files were cut in Sheffield up to about 1960 for specials, just making one or two for specific orders. This is what we call a file cutter stock. This is a log of oak, and this would have been maybe in the kitchen of a small house in which the housewife was a file cutter, and while she's cooking the dinner and watching the children play in the yard, she's also cutting files. This will be in front of the window. Here we have a protrusion off the side of this. It's actually part of the log, and your foot goes on there. That is to raise the position of your knee to this particular level. I'll tell you later about it. Sunk into the oak is an iron anvil that is faced with steel. It is bedded on fresh horse manure, simply because the underside of this anvil or the top face of the hole is never actually flat, and it would rock, as we call it. It would wobble. In order to ensure a mating of the two that's actually solid, they used to put fresh horse manure in, and it would bed itself down. So that's put that into that. The two straps or this strap on here, which does a loop and back again, is to put my right foot in order to clamp the file down so it doesn't move. But before we do that, what they did was to put a lead bed on. This isn't a very good representation, but at least it keeps in place while I'm doing it. So this foot comes up here like that. This foot's clamping this down, and we next have to come to the hammer and chisel that's going to do the work. And these files were all what we call hand cut by hammer and chisel. This is a file blank, which is high carbon steel that's been softened. We call it annealing. It's softened, and then it's ground, and then it goes through a process of making this surface exactly flat called stripping, and we will tell you about that later. This is called a heft pipe. It's a handle, and I can hold it there, and I can control when this doesn't move back in use when I'm cutting. I can hold it there and push it forward or keep it. So that's that.